Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everybody had a great week. Um, Last week was actually a really good week. It was a nice week to get back on the winning track, back to our winning ways. So that was nice to see. So anyone that's started following me a little bit, which I know isn't a lot, but um, it's kind of been up and down recently. But it was nice to get back on our winning track this past week. I'm trying to keep it a little simpler. I had a hard time coming up with singles that I felt very confident in this week. This was kind of a week where I asked myself, what are the things that I'm really confident in? Because there's a lot of what ifs and a lot of unknowns. Like, for instance, in the first fight of the night, we have Buchecha making his UFC debut coming over from one. And in one, they don't have a cage, they just have ropes. He's a heavy grappler. And will he have success? We don't really know. I mean, he's priced as if he's going to, but you know, we could also have a level check. And there's numerous level checks on this card that I will be talking about as we get going. There's a fighter on this card that probably has no business being in the UFC. Um, then there's the main event where is D Ritter really for real? I don't I don't have the answer to that yet. I mean, is is Bo Nickel a fraud? Was the win versus Bo Nickel a good win? We will find that out tomorrow, at least in my opinion. So there's a lot of unknowns. There's some heavy favorites that I think they're a little too wide. So I've got a little creative with my wagers and I went a little different again. So let's get into this. First fight of the night, Martin Buday versus Marcus Buchecha, making his UFC debut. Buchecha came in really big too. But then again, Buday's pretty big also. You know, I'm gonna I don't even know. I don't even have a lean on this. This is a grappler versus striker. Buday's the striker. Buchecha's the grappler. Buchecha is a BJJ specialist, and if his grappling holds up, then he's probably going to get a first round submission. If it doesn't hold up, then I see Buday surviving the first round and then taking over and either getting a decision win or possibly even a knockout. But I would lean more towards a 3-round decision win if that happens. I was gonna bet the over 1.5, but seeing how big Buchecha is coming in, I decided not to. So this fight is pretty much a stay away. I mean, if you want to get cute, you could do Buchecha by submission at a plus 100, or you could look at first round submission. I don't have that in front of me, but I'm assuming it's probably a plus 200 or so. Might be a little value on that. But other than that, it's a stay away for me. The second fight of the night is Mohamed Yahya versus Stephen Wynn. This is the fight where I feel like Mohamed Yahya has no business being in the UFC. I've kind of heard that it was part of the contract deal with having the fights in Abu Dhabi, was that the UFC had to put him on the card. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of what I heard. But then again, Stephen Wynn isn't the greatest either. He's not no one to write home about. If he was, he'd be a minus 1,500, not a minus 350. But I'm going to use him as a parlay piece. I think he's going to be better everywhere. primarily a striker, but I think could be better everywhere. And I look at Win to get either a knockout or a 30-27 victory. So I'm using Win as a parlay piece on a parlay that I will pull up towards the end of the show. And then our next fight is going to be Ibo Aslan versus Billy Alicana. I think Billy Alicana's only path to victory here is to get a submission, is to grapple. But I like Ibo Aslan to be the better striker, the minute winner on the feet. He's got more power on the feet. I look for him to keep this standing for the most part. And if he doesn't, then I look for him to fight to get back to his feet. And I like Aslan to find a KO at some point in this fight. I didn't bet it though. It's just a heavy lean that I've got. That's what I got on that one. Then we got Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha Ritchie. This is probably the most likely fight to go over, and it's my most confident fight to go the distance. This is one of my parlay pieces on fight to go the distance. But I do like Amanda Ribas here. There's a lot of people on Tabitha Ritchie this week because of her being such a big dog now. I think she's gone all the way up to a plus 175. Ribas started out around a minus 150. She's now up to a minus 200. I don't agree with the line there, but I think Ribas going down in weight. I think she's going to be the bigger, stronger girl. I think she's the better striker. I think for the most part, she's going to be able to stuff Tabitha Ritchie's takedowns. And that is one thing I wanted to take a look at is, do we have takedown props out for Tabitha Ritchie yet? And if we do, I was actually going to lean on the under. I know that can be very risky, but that's just how I'm feeling right now. So actually, nope. Yeah, they're not out yet. I wanted to take a quick look just to see the significant strikes just came out, but the takedowns haven't come out yet. If it comes out at over 2.5, then I'm going to put a little bit on the under. I'm assuming it's going to come out at 1.5. If it does, it'll be a stay away for me. I could see her getting 1 or 2. Now, with this fight here, I don't mind a Tabitha Ritchie plus 3.5. That I don't mind at all. I'm going to stay off of the money line. I could see this going to a split decision. And with the line at a plus 170, all of the value is on Tabitha Ritchie now. So it's a stay away for me other than the over. And then we got old man Davy Grant versus Damon Blackshear. Davy Grant's 41 years old, but he really doesn't look it. I kind of like him on the feet a little bit, but I still think Damon Blackshear is going to be the better minute winner on the feet, slightly better. And where Blackshear could be 100 times better is on the mat. If I knew for sure Blackshear was going to be wrestling, I'd be all over him as a parlay piece. I stayed away from him as a parlay piece for this reason only, because we don't really know what he's going to do. I am expecting him to wrestle and take over and get an easy win, either by submission or by decision. But I wish I knew for sure if he would wrestle here, because he's had some fights where he just didn't do it, and he should have in those fights. So my heavy lean is Blackshear. I don't mind him as a parlay piece at all, but I just wish I knew what his game plan was. So On to the next one. We've got Bryce Mitchell versus Syed Nurmagomedov. I would love to fade Mitchell. He's such an asshole. I mean, he's just. I mean, I really think he's like. I don't know if he's just that dumb to really think some of the things that he has said, but some of the things that he has said is just uncalled for. It's just not good. But saying that, I do lean his way a little bit. I liked him way more beginning of the week when he was a plus 100. Now at a minus 140, I don't like it as much. I'm hoping money comes back in on the other side. If it comes back in and he gets down to a minus 110, then I will take him by decision/submission and try and get even money out of it if I can. Or even over a half a round and Mitchell on the money line, something like that. But as of now, I don't have a wager on it. I do like the over. Actually, I take that back. I do have a wager. I have a small wager. It's not a full unit. It's like I'm going to put like 0.7 on it, enough to win 1 unit back. And that is the fight to end by unanimous decision. As you can see, it's scrolling at the bottom. This is kind of risky because a lot of people think he'll get a submission. I personally don't. Now, I will say this. If you do like the Saeed Nurmagomedov side, and if you like him to keep the fight standing, his significant strikes would be a very interesting look. They're very low at a 32.5, and if he keeps it standing, he'll probably end up with closer to 50. So that's what I got on this fight. And then we got Muslim Salikov versus Carlos Leal. I like Carlos Leal to dominate here. I don't know if he's going to get the knockout. I would lean that way, but I'm just kind of worried that when he's gone up in competition a little bit, he's had a harder time getting the finishes. But I do lean that way. But I think he's going to be better everywhere. He's going to have more power. Just going to be the better striker, the better all-around fighter. This is another good parlay piece for me. I took him by decision/knockout on the double method to bring the juice down a little bit. And that is my second leg of my parlay that I've got Steven Wynn on. So, and I will pull that up at the end also. So that's what I got on that one. Then our next fight is Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov, who a lot of people say is, his name is, Anthony Smith. His name was escaping my mind there for a second. A lot of people say he's Anthony Smith's little long lost brother or twin. He looks a lot like him. I don't think he's as good as Anthony Smith was back in the day, but he's got some power, but not a lot. I just think Krylov is going to be better everywhere. I think he's going to be the better striker, even though Guskov's a decent striker and has a little bit of power, but he ain't going to get him out of there. And Krylov is just, I think once Krylov starts to wrestle, he's going to take over and he's going to dominate this fight. And I like Krylov to get either a submission or a decision win. And I like him a lot. I did not use him as a parlay piece or a single, but I don't hate it at all. I actually like it a lot. And then our next fight is Asu Amabayev versus Jose Ochoa. This is another striker versus grappler. Ochoa being the striker, Amabayev being the grappler. Ochoa does have a lot of power. He very well could get a knockout, but I'm going the other way. I'm going with Elmabayev to basically put on his wrestling shoes and get anywhere from 2 to 6 takedowns and grind out a decision victory here. So I like Elmabayev on the money line at a minus 122. I did not play it, but I do like it a lot. I would not be afraid to pair it with a couple of takedowns or even the over 1.5. But at a minus 122, you really don't have to pair it with anything. And then the fight I'm looking forward to is Shara Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriault. There's a lot of debate on how this fight's going to go down, how it's going to end, or, what will the method of victory be by the winner. And I don't know how good Magomedov is. He had some good wins, but then he went up against MVP and just looked like he didn't know what to do. Just could not get his striking going at all. He only had 38 significant strikes in that fight, but then again, MVP only had 45. The one thing that I did notice was 3 out of his last 5 opponents have had 60 plus significant strikes, even in the fights where he ends up with a late knockout. And his last fight where he had the knockout, and that was, I don't want to sit here and say it was luck, but it was very, very low probability. A back spinning elbow knocks him out, towards the end of the second round. So I really I like this fight to go over 1.5 rounds as a parlay piece. That's a minus 180 right now. It's actually been going up because it started out at a minus 160. But what I took was, and I don't know if I wrote it down or not. Yeah, right here it is. Right here's what I took. I took Shara Magomedov over 60.5 significant strikes, minus 117. This is on Bet Rivers. They usually have the best lines for significant strike props, but they just come out really late. I literally just placed this wager less than an hour ago because it just came out this afternoon. On DraftKings, it's 64.5. And then on FanDuel, 60 plus is a minus 145. If you want to pay the juice, I don't mind 60 plus, but this one here is just way better value. I like this fight to go longer. I don't hate fight to go the distance either at a plus 170. I don't hate that at all. I actually have a showdown with a fellow by the name of Danny Brasco, who has his own podcast and works for CBS Sports. I've actually got a showdown of, I got Magomedov winning by decision. He has Magomedov winning by KO. So we'll see what happens there. But I definitely, I do like the significant strikes a lot. And I actually lean the significant strikes over on both sides. A lot of people think that Barriault is going to try and wrestle. If you do like that side for some reason, one takedown at a minus 105 is a pretty solid look also. But I'm on the Magomedov side. I do think he gets the win, but I think it's a little bit tougher of a victory than what a lot of people think. I don't think he's just going to walk through him. I think Barriault's pretty tough. But they're both high volume strikers, so that's why I like their significant strikes, because I think they're going to be putting out in the 5 to 6 significant strikes per minute, which basically means I think the over 60 will cash by the end of the second round, maybe even before that. especially if Magomedov does what he normally does, which is leg kick city. He's gonna end up with 60 leg kicks probably. And then our next fight is Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee. I think this is a level check. I don't think Marcus McGee's ready for this. I think Peter Yan is making, this is a risky fight for him. He's a number 2 contender. What's McGee, number 10, number 11, or somewhere's around there? I mean, he's an up and comer. So McGee could make a statement and make a big splash, or Peter Yan will do a level check. I'm on the Peter Yan side, and this is my second leg of fight to go the distance also. I like fight to go the distance a lot in this fight. This is another fight where I like both sides of their significant strikes. I don't know if they'll exactly get to their target number. Yan is set at around 73 or 74, and McGee is set at low 60s. I don't know if they'll quite get there, but I do like them as a parlay piece at like 40 and 30, or even Yan at 50. Yan has had 50 plus significant strikes in his last 5 3-round fights, which you have to go back a ways to find his last 5 3-round fights. So that's a good target number to target him for. And you can do alternate significant strikes on FanDuel, which is nice. So I do like Peter Yan to get this done. I think he's going to be a little bit higher volume striker. I think he could also get a takedown or 2 in there. The biggest question is, does he win round 1? If he wins round 1, then he's probably going to get a 30-27. But I also don't hate McGee stealing round 1 and taking him at a plus 3.5. I didn't do it just in case if Yan comes out a little quicker this time, knowing that it's a 3-round fight, he might. But I do like Yan to get the victory, and I like the over. And then we've got our last fight of the night. Robert Whittaker versus Rene de Ritter. This is the fight where, I don't know exactly what we're going to get here. I mean, I got to lean plus money on de Ritter. I have to. But going back to what I said beginning of the podcast is Bo Nickel really a fraud, or is de Ritter really that good? I think we're going to find out. I think Whittaker is pretty solid. If the Bo Nickel fight never happened, I think de Ritter would be a plus 300 at least. Actually, this fight probably wouldn't even be happening, but here we are. This is striker versus grappler also. And I do like de Ritter to get going with his takedowns. I do lean for him to find a submission at some point, but I think it's going to take him a little while to find it. I think Whittaker will have a little success early on and be able to stuff his takedowns early on. But I think as the fight goes on, I think de Ritter's just going to take over, and he could possibly find a submission. But the one prop that I did play was the over 2.5 rounds at a minus 125. I think it'll take him a couple rounds to really find his groove and really get going here. So I like the over 2.5 at a minus 125. I think that's pretty good value. I do lean into de Ritter's side, which is a plus 125 still. So if you want to take a stab with that, I don't hate it at all. You could also pair it with a takedown or 2, or even the over 1.5 rounds, maybe. Probably get it closer to a plus 200 if you want. But those are my breakdowns of UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi, and I will now proceed to pulling up some of my parlays and the singles. So here are my singles that I've already talked about. We have Shara Magomedov over 60.5 significant strikes, minus 117. We've got Whittaker DeRitter over 2.5 rounds, minus 125. We got Mitchell and Nurmagomedov fight to end by unanimous decision, plus 130. That one there, remember, that one there is only a 0.7 unit, just enough to win 1 unit. So then we got our parlays, which these are the ones where I'm a lot more confident in them. This first one, I really love this one here. I've got, trying to figure it out in my head real quick. I've got about 3 units on Jan McGee and Richie Ribas fight to go the distance. That's on FanDuel, the minus 135. Everywhere else, that's like a minus 150. You might want to even wait to see if the line moves a little bit more in our favor tomorrow morning. But if you add 20 plus significant strikes by Shara, that brings it to a minus 103. Or if you do this on DraftKings and add the Bryce Mitchell fight to start the second round, that brings it to a minus 103 also. I'm only mentioning these other two because I've played them both. I've played them all. I've also got a Jan and McGee and Richie Ribas fight to go the distance combined with a CFL play from last night that's already cashed. So, and there is a 30% boost on FanDuel today. So you can pull that minus 135 down to a minus 103, or you can pull the minus 103 up to like a plus 125 range, or almost a plus 130, plus 127, something like that. Then I've got my second parlay is Carlos Leal by KO/decision, Jan on the money line, win on the money line, plus 109. I'm going to end up putting 1.5 units on this because if it comes down to Peter Yan, I'll put like a half a unit on the other side to make sure that I profit a unit either way. I like that parlay a lot. A lot of people ask for money line, just fighters to win parlays. So that's my favorite one. Then I started tinkering around with these significant strike parlays last week, and I swept the board with them. I did like 5 different ones and got them all right. It was actually my best week in the UFC in a long time. If you followed everything on the show from last week, you would have profited 6.93 units, but I personally profited closer to 20. So I got Shara Magomedov 40 plus significant strikes. I've got McGee 30 plus significant strikes, Jan 40 plus significant strikes, and then Whittaker 20 plus 115. Now, there's no way to hedge this if it comes down to Whittaker. So if you want to switch the last leg to Whittaker to have the most significant strikes in the fight, that's like a minus 200. You could do that, and then you would have a way to hedge it. If you did that, that brings it closer to like a plus 175, I believe, rather than a plus 115. So you get more, you get better value that way also. But those are my 3 parlays. I like those 3 a lot. Once again, I would say that I've got at least 2 units on this one here, and I'm comfortable betting 2.7 units to bring back 2 units on that first one, and then 1 unit on the other 2. So those are my plays for UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi. Just remember, this is a ABC card. This starts at 12 noon Eastern time. So if anyone's going to be playing these, get them in now, or by morning. I wish everybody the best of luck. Please, if you watch this video, please hit the like on your way out. And any comments are, encouraged and recommended. I hope everybody has a great evening.